Jerry Bridwell McWee's life story is a tragic and complicated one, ending in violence, controversy, and execution. Born on December 29, 1952, McWee once lived an ordinary life as a police officer and an emergency medical technician. He had no criminal record until his path crossed with George Wade Scott, a career criminal. Yet by July of 1991, McWee's name would become infamous in South Carolina, tied to two murders committed in the course of robbery and drug use. The first killing took place in a small, rural convenience store in Aiken County. On that night, McWee, desperate for money to buy drugs, entered the store where clerk John Perry was working. He forced Perry into the back room and then shot him twice in the head with a .38 caliber revolver. Perry begged for his life, but McWee ignored him and fled the scene with $350 from the register. Only a week later, McWee was involved in a second killing, this time alongside Scott. Together, they murdered David Willis, a roofing contractor, who also happened to be McWee's employer. While Scott fired the fatal shots in the second crime, McWee was deeply implicated. Scott, in turn, struck a plea bargain, testifying against McWee in the Perry case in exchange for life sentences rather than facing the death penalty himself. McWee went to trial for the murder of John Perry in 1994. He admitted to pulling the trigger, but attempted to lessen the blame by claiming one shot was by accident and the second by mistake. Prosecutors, however, argued that the killing was cold-blooded and deliberate. The jury convicted him of murder and armed robbery, sentencing him to death. Scott, meanwhile, received life imprisonment for both murders, sparking debate about fairness in sentencing, since he had also been responsible for killing Willis. What followed were years of appeals, many of which focused on the jury's confusion over parole eligibility. During deliberations, jurors asked the judge whether a life sentence meant McWee could eventually be released. The judge declined to answer. Later, it came to light that one juror only voted for death after another incorrectly insisted that McWee could be paroled after 15 years. McWee's attorneys also argued that his trial counsel had failed to prepare adequately, especially in presenting his history of mental illness. McWee had struggled since childhood with hallucinations, depression, and psychotic features, and his family had a record of mental instability. Still, every appeal failed, and the U.S. Supreme Court refused to intervene. In 2004, Governor Mark Sanford denied clemency. On April 16, 2004, Jerry Bridwell McWee was executed by lethal injection at Broad River Correctional Institution in Columbia, South Carolina. Its final moments were marked by quiet emotion. As the curtain opened, he blew kisses to his mother, who sobbed softly. His final statement, read by his lawyer, expressed sorrow and regret. "I only wished that things could have been different. I would give anything if only that could have been the case." A tear rolled down his cheek as the drugs took effect, and he was pronounced dead at 6:18 p.m. Before his execution, McWee was allowed a final meal of steak, jumbo fried shrimp, broccoli with cheese, French fries, lemon meringue pie, and iced tea. He was 51 years old. His execution made him the 30th person put to death in South Carolina since the state reinstated the death penalty in 1976.